While we celebrate and honor International Women's Day at the Forbes Woman Africa Leading Women Summit, it is also important to acknowledge the leading forces behind the scenes that make this event all possible. Joining me to reflect over some of the conversation discussed in the panel that took place earlier is Yvonne Temba, who is the Chief People Officer at McDonald's. Yvonne, thank you so much for your time. I just want to know what stood up for you the most from the panel discussion that just took place.
A couple of things. The tenacity of the women on the panel, the differences in industry that they're in and how successful they have been in their industries, and the fact that it has been a hell of a journey for them and they've had to juggle the balance of running your own company, being the marketing officer, the HR officer, the strategist and the thinker of it. So that's what really stood out for me, that they've overcome.
Great. And just one message do you hope the women in attendance will take away from the panel discussion?
I think that will be, I can do it too. I can be that person that is under 30 on the Forbes list. I can be an owner-operator. I can be anything that I want to be and rule the world in your space.
Awesome, and that was Yvonne Temba, who is the Chief People Officer at McDonald's. And as you've heard for yourself, she says, be the best version of yourself, and you can do it too. And now I'm joined by Joanne Devet, who is the Chief Restaurant Solutions Officer at McDonald's. Joanne, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you being here. Why was it important for McDonald's to associate with the summit?
So I think the important part of the partnership between McDonald's South Africa and Forbes Women's Africa Leading Women Summit is about taking a leadership position. A leadership position that focuses on our commitment to the empowerment and the inclusion of women. And we believe that Forbes and McDonald's South Africa have a synergy that talks to that leadership.
Great. And how does the brand plan to inspire some of the ladies who are in attendance today?
So there is a panel discussion. And that's part of inspiring some of the ladies that's in attendance today or that may be in attendance virtually. The other way of inspiring is obviously just supporting and sponsoring this phenomenal event.
Great. So you sit on the International Board of Advisory for the franchise. What measures do you have in place that ensure the women in your franchise are empowered and inspired to be better versions of themselves?
I think the first part of inclusion is to create that opportunity for empowerment. So by virtue of them owning and operating their own businesses is a form of empowerment. By having a fair representation of women in our business, and let me say 46% of the key decision makers in our business are women, and they are in these positions not only because they are women, but because they are the best individuals for the job.
And just lastly, what message do you hope all the women in attendance today will take away from the event?
I think that what is key is that the opportunities are available and for them to seize the moment, to act and be inspired to be the best future leaders, not just for themselves, but for our greater world.
Great, and that was Joanne Devet, who's the Chief Restaurant Solutions Officer. As you heard for yourself, she says, grab the opportunities now, do what you can to be the best version of yourself.
Well, Palisa, this was one of the best panels I've ever been on. Merely because these are purposeful conversations. These are conversations that really allows a person to walk away having been empowered, a person to have learned, and to take some ideas back to our younger generation to impact their lives. What I'd like to say, though, is that I like the 50+ platform, because at 50+, our purpose is to leave a legacy. What does that legacy look like? That legacy look like building structures, platforms, policies. We are the women that must ensure that we empower other women and we do not walk away from them. For the younger generation, Allow yourself to embrace older women with their knowledge and allow yourself to teach them also, because we are in the digital era, and you as younger generation understand how important it is to understand the digital world, to communicate with everyone and to empower everyone more easier and more simpler. Thank you.
And at McDonald's, would you say you are doing your part in empowering young African people, specifically women?
Well, at McDonald's South Africa, 64% of our workforce are women. They run our restaurants very sufficiently. And what I'd like to say to you, as the chairperson of the Women's Leadership Network for the McDonald's South Africa chapter, we've got a platform that allow women to be inspired, allow women to be recognized and to rise. And our platform is the Women's Leadership Network, and we do Women in Conversation.
Lovely, lovely. Thank you so much, Maureen.
Thank you very much.